everyone, it's Dina Calmetta here, and welcome back to CWW7 News. I hope you guys had an awesome weekend out there. So for our first set of headlines this Monday, I wanted to bring you guys some updates in regards to what transpired over the weekend with North Korea, South Korea, the United States, as well as Israel, Syria, and Russia. And I have a new headline just this morning in regards to China. So here are a few of the stories that we're going to talk about. North Korea is vowing to reduce the United States to ashes with a nuke strike if President Trump fires even a single bullet at North Korea. South Korea fears that Kim Jong-un's missile engine launch shows meaningful advances. China aims 1,500 missiles at U.S. military bases. Israel stated that they will not hesitate to destroy Syrian air defenses. And Russia has summoned the Israeli envoy demanding clarifications on the Syrian strike. So lots to talk about, a lot of action this weekend. Let's jump into these headlines and then I will be right back. Kim Jong-un vows to reduce the United States to ashes with nuke strikes if President Trump fires even a single bullet at North Korea. The secretive state released a statement earlier this month warning President Trump of nuclear destruction if America fires even a single bullet towards Pyongyang. The statement said the Korean People's Army will reduce the bases of aggression and provocation to ashes with its invincible Hwasong rockets tipped with nuclear warheads and reliably defend the security of the country and its people's happiness in case the U.S. and South Korean puppet forces fire even a single bullet at the territory of the DPRK. End of quote. The menacing talk came as South Korea warned that its northern neighbor's latest rocket engine tests showed meaningful progress. The North KCNA news agency said on Sunday the engine would help the country achieve world-class satellite launch capability, indicating a new type of rocket engine for an intercontinental ballistic missile. The deputy spokesman for the South Korean Defense Ministry stated, "Through this test, it is found that engine function has made meaningful progress, but further analysis is needed for exact thrust and possible uses." The state-run North Korean media reported that the country's leader had hailed the test as a new birth of its rocket industry. U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters he held meetings on North Korea during the weekend at his Florida resort. While he did not refer specifically to the rocket engine test, he did state that North Korea was acting very, very badly. It goes on further to say last week the President's Secretary of State Rex Tillerson announced a policy of strategic patience was over and refused to rule out military action. He said the diplomatic and other efforts of the past 20 years to bring North Korea to a point of denuclearization have failed. So we have 20 years of a failed approach, and that includes a period in which the U.S. provided $1.35 billion in assistance to North Korea as an encouragement to take a different pathway. He added, "If they elevate the threat of their weapons program to a level we believe requires action, that option is on the table." Meanwhile, fearing imminent attack, Japan has begun staging mass evacuation drills. The first exercise of its kind saw civilians young and old scrambling for cover as air raid sirens wailed. As previously reported, Japanese civil defense officials have published pamphlets outlining emergency measures in the event of a nuclear war. In addition, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson discussed the possibility of nuclear weapons on the island of Japan in an interview published Saturday, saying circumstances could evolve on the Korean peninsula that would require the U.S. to arm its allies with nukes. He went on to say, "We think it's important that everyone in the region has a clear understanding that circumstances could evolve to the point that for mutual deterrence reasons, we might have to consider a nuclear Japan." While Tillerson opened the possibility of nuclear Japan in his comments, he He emphasized that official U.S. policy is to work towards fewer nuclear weapons in the region, not more. Our objective is a denuclearized Korean peninsula. A denuclearized Korean peninsula negates any thought or need for Japan to have nuclear weapons. Our objective is to have the regime in North Korea come to a conclusion that the reasons that they have felt they had to develop nuclear weapons, those reasons are not well founded. Things are definitely heating up with North Korea, South Korea, the United States, and Japan. I will keep you guys up to date as these reports continue to develop. But let's talk about Israel. The Jerusalem Post is reporting that Israel will not hesitate to destroy Syrian air defenses. Israel's security is paramount, and above everything else, there will be no compromise. Israel will not hesitate to destroy Syria's air defense systems if that country ever again targets IAF jet fighters, says a defense minister. The Air Force's Arrow anti-aircraft missile defense system intercepted a Syrian SA-5 missile fired at Israeli jets on Friday night. The jets had already returned to Israeli airspace when they were attacked after striking targets in Syria. You have to understand the context. If we strike, there is a real reason for it, says the defense minister. We have no interest in intervening in the civil war in Syria, either in favor of or against Assad. We do not want to clash with the Russians. Our main issue is with the transfer of advanced weaponry from Syria to Lebanon, and so whenever we detect an attempt to smuggle weapons, we will act to prevent it. We will not compromise on this issue. Lieberman warned that there will be no compromise on the transfer of weapons to Hezbollah, and that if the Syrian regime again uses air defense systems against IAF jets, Israel will destroy them. We will not hesitate. Israel's security is paramount, and above everything else, there will be no compromise. The defense minister also addressed the situation in the south, saying that we will not invest Israel taxpayer money in electricity and water for the residents of Gaza while they are investing their money in attack tunnels. We will not tolerate any provocation. The IDF will respond strongly to every rocket fired from the Gaza Strip. Russia summoned the Israeli ambassador to Moscow, Gary Koren, to provide clarifications Friday, less than 24 hours after Israel struck targets in Syria, as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a statement explaining the reason behind the operation. Moscow is heavily involved in Syria and strongly supports the regime of President Bashar Assad. Israel's Channel 2 News reported Saturday night that Moscow was particularly concerned because the Israeli strike was close to areas where Russian troops are deployed. Netanyahu said Israel would continue to target weapon convoys. Our policy is very consistent. When we identify attempts to transfer advanced weapons to Hezbollah, when we have the intel and the operational capability, we act to prevent it. That's how we've acted and how we will continue to act, and everyone needs to take this into account. Everyone. China apparently is aiming 1,500 missiles at U.S. military bases as a war boss is threatening to shoot enemies. Military bosses from the People's Liberation Army are aiming their firepower at Taiwan as part of an escalating military threat to the island. U.S. military bases are within range of the DF-16 ballistic missiles, which can hit targets with pinpoint precision from 1,500 kilometers away. The Chinese defense minister issued the shock announcement as tensions over the disputed South China Sea territory threatened to spill over into a war. His comments come after Taiwan revealed it has missiles capable of reaching Chinese shores last week. Speaking to lawmakers on Friday, Fang said the missiles will bolster the weapons modernization and military hard power of China. The minister did not reveal how many missiles had been deployed or where, but Taiwan claims China is targeting the island with around 1,500 missiles. Relations between the two countries have crashed to an all-time low after Beijing's skeptic president took power last year. According to military experts, the missiles has a range of 1,000 to 1,500 kilometers and can carry 2 or more warheads. When asked about the threat posed by Taiwan, he said, "We are confident in our surveillance to detect any unfriendly action towards us. We have sufficient weaponry to shoot it down outside our territory." In January, China declared that war with the U.S. is now a reality. Warships, missiles, and nuclear-capable bombers are flooding the region as World War III appears to be on the brink.
in the Pacific.
Are we on the cusp of Isaiah 17:1 and possibly Ezekiel 38? We're definitely seeing Matthew 24:6 and 7, wars and rumors of wars. Definitely very prophetic. I will keep you guys up to date as these stories continue to develop, but stay tuned. I do have more news coming up next.